Hi, my name is Cleo, and I'm possibly the clumsiest girl on earth. Accidents just happen around me. I swear it's not my fault, but that made me the most famous TikToker now. Please like and subscribe because My Story Animated will give $1,000 to one lucky person who subscribes in the next 7 days. Tell your friends, your sister, brother, and mom to subscribe now. My parents were really wealthy, and they liked their luxury. When I was 9 months old, Dad brought a rare vase from Thailand and proudly placed it on the table.
100 blind monks painted this. Took them 2 years.
In less than 2 minutes, I'd crawled straight into the table and toppled it over. I started clapping at the cool smashing sound, but something about Dad's face made me stop. When I started walking, I was like freaking Godzilla, destroying everything in my way. My parents packed away all their precious collector's items, covered the furniture with plastic wrap, and switched to paper cups and plates. But when I was 5 years old, I caused a disaster of epic proportions. One day, I saw the servants sneaking something into Dad's study, and I felt really curious. Later that night, I went down to have a look at it. It was just a dumb painting. As I was about to cover it up, I tripped over the cloth and went crashing straight into the painting, ripping a me-shaped hole through the canvas. Oh my God. The next day, Dad had invited hundreds of friends to our mansion for the unveiling of the painting.
It's such an honor that the great artist has let me borrow it. Behold the masterpiece. Holy moly!
The artist sued Dad, and he had to pay millions in damages. Luckily, money wasn't an issue, but Dad was still so mad. He thought I wasn't normal, so he whisked me off to the doctor who did lots of tests and scans and said there was nothing wrong with me.
Maybe she's just evil then. Maybe she's pretending to be clumsy and destroying our lives for fun.
You sound crazy. Our baby is not evil.
Your baby is a walking disaster.
But then one day, I discovered something that changed my life. When I was 8, Mom took me to the city for the first time. But we were in a really crowded place, and I slipped away from her. As I looked around, I saw a group of homeless children dancing in the street. I immediately fell in love with the way they gracefully moved their bodies. People were giving them money after their performance, but I only had my lollipop. So I gave it to one of them, and she was happy. From then on, I'd watch YouTube videos and teach myself to dance. Even though I was so clumsy usually, the beat of the music somehow made my body movements really coordinated. One day, I decided to show off my moves to my parents. Mommy, Daddy, look, I'm a dancer. Mom was thrilled, but Dad looked horrified and immediately turned off the music.
Good God, how can I unsee that? Don't you ever do that again.
What do you mean, Daddy? I'm a really good dancer, like Beyonce.
Who told you that? Your mirror? Drop this nonsense. You'll be running my company one day, idiot.
Who says she can't do both? She can take dancing lessons right now and learn about your company when she's older.
I say she can't because I pay the bills, and I don't ever want to hear the word dancing in my house again.
I was furious. As I was storming off past him, I accidentally tripped and knocked his phone out of his hand. The screen was smashed to bits. I ran off grinning as he roared. But he was right. He did pay the freaking bills. So I kept learning secretly, but I never mentioned it again. Everyone thought I'd outgrow my clumsiness, but it just seemed to get worse. And of course, in high school, something like this makes you the perfect target for bullies. On my first day in 9th grade, the teacher asked me to collect everyone's notebooks. As I gingerly walked up with the pile, I tripped. When I started picking them up, I didn't see the teacher kneeling down to help me, and I elbowed him really hard in the eye. Word of my clumsiness spread like wildfire. People had bets on when I'd fall or drop something next. If I was seen with any hot food or drink, everyone started running away like the devil was after them. Needless to say, I didn't have any friends, except this crazy rich jock, Hudson, who'd been acting like my boyfriend since the first time he saw me. One day, I was in the girls' bathroom when he suddenly barged in.
Baby cakes, I have a surprise for you.
He pulled me outside where everyone had already gathered to see his gift. Hundreds of iPhones arranged in a giant heart on the ground.
That's 365 iPhones, babe. One for every day of the year. I'll buy you more when you've smashed all of these.
Another time, he gave me a horse. Hudson, what am I gonna do with it? We're in a city.
But that's the one thing you don't have. And you deserve everything. Now go on, try sitting on it.
Erin, the most popular cheerleader, made a bed out of it, as always. Gather around, guys. New bet starting now. $1,000 if she falls off in the first minute. I was just getting onto the horse when it suddenly flicked its tail and knocked me over. To my horror, I landed in its poop. Erin was howling in triumph as cash rained on her. Keep up the good work, you stupid klutz. Make me richer. When I tried to get up, everyone suddenly disappeared, including Hudson. That jerk! But then, Erin did something that made me even crazier. She started a freaking dance club at school. While I was reading the dance club poster, I heard Erin behind me. Seriously? Don't even think about it. I only accept the best, and you can't even walk straight, dummy. Don't worry, I'm not interested. At all. Of course, that was a lie. It was my dream to dance with other people, like those kids on the street I'd seen years ago, but I could only dance by myself. One afternoon while I was walking in our garden, I tripped over a sunflower and suddenly a splash of water hit my face.
Oh my God, I am so sorry. I didn't see you. I'm Samuel, the new driver.
I looked up to see a gorgeous boy washing our cars with a garden hose, and he was shirtless. As he helped me up, I couldn't help wondering how hard his abs were. I stumbled on purpose, and my palms accidentally landed on his abs, harder than a rock.
Ma'am, are you okay?
Why wouldn't I be? Without another word, I ran off to my room. A few hours later, I was dancing away when I caught Samuel watching me through the window. How long have you been standing there?
You dropped your necklace. I just came to return it. But you were so great, I was mesmerized.
I swear his compliment had my stomach breakdancing. I started hanging out with him after that day, and it felt good to have a friend who knew my little secret. But the universe kept teasing me. Erin started dancing on TikTok and got 1 million followers in a week. Samuel kept encouraging me to make my own account.
I bet you're gonna have 1 million followers in just one day.
My dad won't like it. He doesn't get me. But from then on, I started filming myself whenever I danced in my room. Maybe someday Dad would come around. One evening, Dad took me to a company dinner and officially introduced me as the future CEO. Everyone raised a toast to it, but it just didn't feel right. As I made my way to the front for a speech, my dress got caught on something and ripped, exposing my underwear. Everyone in the room started laughing quietly, and I could see Dad's furious face. I ran out as fast as I could to the car. Samuel looked at my tear-stained face with concern.
Are you okay, ma'am?
I'm sure lots of people think I have the perfect life as a rich heiress, but I want things that money can't buy. I want to do what I love. I want to make my parents proud, and I just want to be normal. To make me feel better, Samuel took me to a dance club. I closed my eyes and just started dancing. Minutes later, I'd forgotten everything because I was in my happy place. When I opened my eyes, I saw Samuel looking at me, and my heartbeat raced.
Ma'am, you're a goddess. I could watch you all day.
Suddenly, I pulled him in close. It's not ma'am, it's Cleo. Just then, I got a call from my dad yelling at me to come home immediately.
Your behavior is unacceptable, but I'll forgive you on one condition. Date the son of my biggest investor, at least for 6 months.
I thought about Samuel, but I knew Dad wasn't really giving me a choice. So I agreed. The next day when he introduced me to his investor's son, my jaw dropped open. Hudson?
Baby cakes!
Did you know about this?
Duh, I've always known who you are. You're not just hot, your parents are as rich as mine.
That very night, I was invited to dinner by his parents, and Dad had a list of instructions for me.
Don't disappoint them, or else I'm going to lose billions. Think before you even breathe, Cleo. And no cursing. They hate that.
Unfortunately, thinking wasn't gonna help. Hudson had the scariest parents in the world. They were watching my every move. It was so nerve-wracking. I got clumsier by the second. I kept dropping my fork, and when I tried to pass his mom the water, the jug slipped from my hand. But then, the unthinkable happened. I dropped some soup on my dress and excused myself for the bathroom. As soon as I got up, I hit my pinky toe on the edge of the table. Holy piece of stupid sh! They looked at me like I'd just killed their whole neighborhood. I was sure Hudson wouldn't want anything to do with me after that dinner, but Dad would be raging mad when he found out. But I actually didn't care. The next day at school, I was really surprised when Hudson walked over to me and put his arm around my waist.
Baby cakes? I don't care if my parents think you're a stupid klutz. You're too beautiful for anyone else. I have a grand gift to make you feel better.
He pushed a bunch of car keys into my hand.
20 sports cars for you, babe.
20 freaking cars? But I didn't even know how to drive. He gave the stupidest gifts ever. Just then, he kissed me and I pushed him away. I'm sorry, Hudson, but I can't force myself to like you. I like someone else. Also, you're really obnoxious. And with that, I threw the car keys at him and walked away. Of course, Hudson's parents backed out from the deal, and Dad went psycho. I told him what a jerk Hudson was, but he didn't care.
So, your mom married me, didn't she? It's actually because of that poor driver, isn't it? Well, I sent him back to his country and I told him to stay away from you, if he knows what's good for him.
I was shocked, and then I was furious. That's it. Keep your stupid house and your stupid company to your stupid self. I'm not giving up on anything for you now.
How dare you talk to me like that?
She's right. I'm not watching you bully her anymore either. Dad immediately kicked us both out of his mansion and cut off all our allowances. But Mom wasn't sorry at all and said she'd rather be poor than with him. We moved to my late grandparents' house. Luckily, I still had the horse and iPhones Hudson gave me, and I sold them all off to give us a head start. And I made my own account and uploaded my saved videos. To my surprise, I got 2 million followers over the weekend. Erin was smoking red. Next day at school, she came to me and said, "How is this possible? I can twerk and throw it back better than you." I guess my followers just disagree with you, Erin. Fine, let's dance to the same song. And whoever has more likes in 1 hour wins. Loser pays $50,000 and drops out of school. Challenge accepted. We did the dance, and I won by 100,000 likes. Erin's account was suddenly deleted, and I never saw her again. Mom encouraged me to do more videos, and I reached 20 million followers in just 4 months. She also started joining me, and I was mind blown by her moves. So that's where I got my talent. 2 years later, we started a dance studio where I taught little kids how to dance and to chase their dreams. And this seemed just right. But there was something missing from my life until one day, a handsome guy entered my studio, and when he took off his shades, I swear I almost fainted.
Can I get an autograph?
I can give you more than that, Samuel. We went out and sparks flew. Sam was charming, kind, and simple. Even my mom loved him. We started dating and even danced together for some videos. My fans went crazy when we finally got married, and they adored the heck out of our clumsy baby boy. I was just minding my own business in the convenience store when suddenly a hooded guy jumped at the cashier and pulled out a gun.
Give me some cash. All of it. Now.
Everyone started to panic, except me. I'd actually been waiting for this moment. "Hey, idiot!" Everyone gasped as the robber turned to me. I then walked up to him while slowly removing my jacket. It's so hot in here, don't you think?
Back off, sweetheart. I have a gun.
Not anymore. He tried to dive for it, but I immediately locked him in a tight grip and pinned him to the ground. It's jail time, baby. And that's how you catch a criminal. Hi, my name is Artemis, and I've always wanted to become a detective, just like my dad. Before I continue, MSA will give $1,000 to one lucky person who subscribes in the next 7 days. Tell your friends, your sister, brother, and mom to subscribe now. As the robber was being arrested, someone approached me with a proud smile on his face. My favorite police detective, Lewis. I'd met him during a Future Detective summer program for high school students last year, and we'd kept in touch.
You're really something else, kid.
Kid? He was just 5 years older than me, but he kept treating me as his little sister. And it was so annoying because I actually liked him. I learned from the best.
If you're free tonight, do you want to have dinner with me?
Would he finally confess his feelings for me? The anticipation was killing me. He took me to a romantic restaurant and my heart was racing.
I'll get to the point, Artemis. I know that you've been waiting for this moment too.
You bet I have.
We're having a big and difficult case right now, and we need your help.
Oh, I suddenly felt stupid. Tell me about it.
It's a gold smuggling case, and the suspect's name is Mr. Anderson. We need some hard evidence against him.
And how can I help exactly?
He has a son, and his name is Chase. He's a senior high school student, reckless, clumsy, and spoiled. He's looking for a female bodyguard, and she should be very attractive.
So, you want me to pose as his bodyguard while spying on Mr. Anderson, right?
Exactly. I need you to find where he's keeping all those gold bars.
Mission accepted, officer. Dad had trained me in martial arts since I was 2, and now I could finally put it to good use. Lewis prepared my fake documents for the application, and luckily, I was chosen. I was so excited about this mission, but little did I know that I was about to get involved in the biggest mess ever. I tried so hard to keep my cool when I finally met Mr. Anderson. His face literally screamed danger. I was secretly scanning my eyes around his office as we discussed the job. There were surveillance cameras everywhere. It was gonna be harder than I thought.
I love my son more than anything, so do your best to protect him.
I'll make sure you won't regret hiring me, sir. He gave me a very thick portfolio of Chase, and the first thing I noticed was his face. It was very attractive. Mr. Anderson told me that Chase was waiting for me in this room, and the moment I opened it, I was caught off guard when someone suddenly jumped on me. It was him, and he looked like a scared little puppy. Is everything okay?
Take that disgusting little creature away from me.
I looked around and noticed a cockroach crawling toward us. I immediately stepped on it and crushed it to death. Don't worry, it's gone. He finally opened his eyes, and I almost dropped my jaw when we both stared at each other. He was the most handsome man that I had ever seen, and I wasn't exaggerating. Just then, he jumped away from me and cleared his throat.
I just find it really dirty, that's all. Anyway, you must be the new bodyguard.
Artemis, at your service.
Dad surely knows my type.
Do you want to make out? Do you want to die?
Playing hard to get. I like that.
I was hired to be your bodyguard, not your girlfriend, sir.
You'll still end up being one, so why waste time?
He was about to touch me, but I gave him a powerful blow that sent him flying to the wall.
Are you crazy? You're being paid to protect me, not kill me.
Sorry, it's just a reflex.
Fix your stupid reflex or I'll tell Dad to fire you.
Loud and clear, sir. I'll officially start my duty tomorrow. Have a nice night. Later that night, while everyone was sleeping, I tiptoed around the mansion and installed some spy cameras to watch Mr. Anderson's every move. I had to catch him soon and get this job over and done with. The next day at Chase's school, boys immediately flocked around me like I was a celebrity, and Chase didn't look too happy about it. Just then, he started throwing some dollar bills at them.
$1,000 for each of you to back off and stop looking at my bodyguard, losers.
And with that, they all closed their eyes and ran away like rats in the dark. Excuse me, sir, but why did you do that? I can take care of myself.
I want you to focus on me. Those idiots will just distract you.
There's no need to do that. I'm not usually distracted by stupid things. But he just ignored me and continued walking. Suddenly, he slipped on a piece of tissue paper, and before he could hit his head on the ground, I caught him in my arms. Our faces were so close, and for a moment, I felt lost in his beautiful blue eyes. Just then, a pretty girl came running and screaming, "Hubby Boo! What is the meaning of this? Are you cheating on me?" Based on his file, it must be Vanessa, his girlfriend. On reflex, I dropped Chase to the ground.
This girl is my bodyguard. She was just protecting me.
Oh, what a relief. I'm your one and only, always and forever. Right, Hubby Boo? She then jumped on him and started kissing him like a vacuum cleaner. Vanessa was clinging onto Chase all day and kept sticking her tongue out at me. What was her problem? Later that day, Chase suddenly dragged me into the janitor's closet.
I actually don't like Vanessa. I just dated her because she's just so obsessed with me. I felt bad for her.
And why are you telling me this, sir?
Don't be jealous.
Huh? I'm sorry, but I really don't get you.
Forget it. I already broke up with her many times, and she's like an annoying leech. From now on, I want you to keep her away from me. Make sure she doesn't come near me.
Copy that, sir. Later that day, I snuck into the bathroom to check the video on my phone and saw Mr. Anderson enter the mansion, and then he went straight into his room. I needed to have access there too. On my way out, I bumped into someone, Vanessa.
Listen, girlie, you may look tough and all, but I'm not scared of you. I need you to stay away from my future husband, my hubby boo. Sorry, I can't do that. I'm being paid to be by his side 24/7. And besides, you have nothing to worry about. I'm not attracted to him. She burst out laughing. Chase is the most beautiful guy in the entire universe. There's no way you're not attracted to him unless you're a lesbian. OMG, are you? Do you like me instead? Maybe. I can't blame you. I'm perfect, but I'm sorry. You're not my type. That's too bad because I think I'm obsessed with you. I leaned in closer and pouted my lips for a kiss. Ew! Get away from me! My little stunt was effective because anytime Vanessa came close to Chase, I made pouty lips at her and she ran off. But I wasn't exactly celebrating. It had only been a week, but I wanted to give up already. Chase was a total pain in the butt and such a big baby. He would complain over the smallest things. One time, he was making a huge fuss about a mosquito bite.
How could you not stop it from sucking my precious blood? I thought you had great reflexes. See? It's swollen.
You're not gonna die from it, sir. Relax. One time, he decided to skip school just to go shopping for a new yacht. As we were walking towards the port, we bumped into some guys who looked like gangsters, and he actually knew them.
It's a perfect day to break some skulls, don't you think, Chase? What do you want, Brody? Your girl. She looks like my next girlfriend.
He was about to touch me, but suddenly, Chase jumped in and shoved him to the ground.
Don't you dare touch her, dummy.
Brody went berserk.
You stupid dirtbag.
He was about to punch Chase, but I was able to block his fist just in time. I'd run home to mommy if I were you. I twisted his arm and he went screaming in pain.
Get her, boys.
I threw a couple of my karate moves and they all fell to the ground in no time. I turned to Chase and he looked stunned. He was still speechless, even in the car. When we got home, he just sat in front of me and stared at my face. Is there any problem, sir?
You're the prettiest and coolest girl that I've ever met. Do you know that?
He lifted his hand to touch my face and I just shivered at the contact. You know what happens when you touch me, Chase. So get your hands off me before it's too late. Suddenly, his happy face turned sad as he pulled away from me.
I'm sorry. I won't bother you anymore.
Well, that was weird. I needed to find that secret room with the gold bars as soon as possible before things got any weirder. But whenever I had the chance, I looked all around the mansion and found nothing. One day, Mr. Anderson had a business trip and he'd be away for a week. It was finally my chance to work on his room. After making sure everyone was asleep, I went to his room and while I was checking his drawers, I felt someone watching me from the door. Chase!
What are you doing here?
I was looking for you.
In the drawers? I don't think I could fit in there.
Oh God, I needed to distract him. And then I did the unthinkable. I walked up to him, grabbed his face, and kissed him on the lips. And worse, I kinda enjoyed it.
Whoa, what was that about?
I've been craving your lips.
I knew it. No one could resist me, not even you.
I guess you're right. Anyway, we have to sleep now. It's late.
How could I when you just kissed me?
I tried getting rid of him, but he was persistent. First, he insisted we watch videos together on his favorite channel, MSA, for 2 hours. And then, he even made me sing him a lullaby to help him sleep. When he was finally asleep, I just found myself staring at his face. He actually looked like a beautiful angel. Snap out of it, idiot! The next day at school, Chase did something that gave me the shock of my life. He announced to everyone that we were dating, and Vanessa went wild. This girl is a lesbian, and I'm the one she actually likes. She's only getting back at you because she's jealous. Chase ignored her and got on his knees instead. To my surprise, he started tying up my shoelaces.
Silly girl, what if you trip and hurt yourself?
I then pulled him to the side and confronted him. What in the world are you doing?
You like me, and I like you. So we're dating, right?
Are you crazy? If your dad finds out about this, we're dead.
Don't worry. He's too busy to even check up on me. From now on, I'll protect you and serve you instead, okay?
I kept on refusing, but he was unstoppable. He was just around me all the time, and it was driving me crazy. All he did was stare at me 90% of the time. Could you please stop that? It's freaking me out.
I could stare at you forever. You're just too pretty. I sometimes doubt if you're even real.
During classes, he kept reaching for my hand just to hold it. During lunch, he would feed me and just watch me eat. He was acting like the perfect boyfriend, and I had no choice but to play along to protect my cover. Ugh, what had I gotten myself into? Later that night, I called Lewis and reported everything, including my fake relationship with Chase.
I need you to stop entertaining any distractions and finish your mission ASAP. Understood?
He sounded mad, and it made me feel bad. I'm sorry, I'll do better. The only place I hadn't checked yet was Mr. Anderson's bathroom, and I had to do that first thing in the morning. But I woke up to see Chase smiling at me with breakfast in bed.
Good morning, my love. Eat up. I cooked it for you.
The eggs looked delicious, so I decided to have a little taste. And they actually were. I didn't know you could cook.
I wanted to be a chef and open my own restaurant someday, but Dad wanted me to be the next CEO of his company instead.
Nothing feels better than living your dream, so stop being a loser and go for it. It's your life, not your dad's anyway. I suddenly felt bad knowing that his dad was a criminal.
That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. I can't help but fall for you harder each day.
He sounded so real, I almost fell for it. You're pretty good with words, aren't you?
I'm serious about you.
To my surprise, he gave me a quick peck on the lips, and it made me blush like hell. One weekend, he insisted that I train him in boxing. When we got inside the ring, he was so hyped up. Are you sure about this?
Heck yeah.
But the moment I threw a single punch, he went flying like paper. I worriedly rushed up to him, but he immediately got up.
I wasn't ready, but this time, I'll show you no mercy.
I decided to make him win and let him knock me out this time.
You cheated. You let me win.
No, I didn't. He was pouting as he sulked in the corner. Then suddenly I felt bad. Fine, I cheated. I'm sorry.
I'll accept your apology if you'll have a date with me.
I agreed, and he took me to the park. I waited for him on the bench as he bought me ice cream. There were a couple of kids playing around, and to my surprise, he called them over and bought ice cream for all of them, and even gave the vendor a huge tip. He wasn't really that bad after all, and I just found myself smiling. Oh no, I couldn't fall for him. I had to get rid of these stupid thoughts and focus on my goal. The next day, I told Chase that I wasn't feeling well, so I couldn't go to school with him. As soon as the coast was clear, I slipped into his dad's room and went straight to the bathroom. I checked every corner and space until I saw a button underneath the sink. I pressed it, and to my surprise, the bathtub slid away, revealing a trap door beneath it. I tried all the combinations in the passcode lock until it finally opened. I went down the stairs and I couldn't believe my eyes. The room was full of gold bars. I immediately called Lewis for backup, and while I was taking some pictures, someone suddenly smacked my phone out of my hand. It was Mr. Anderson, back from his trip, and he was raging mad.
You little witch.
Just in time, Lewis and the police barged in and finally arrested him. As he was being escorted out, Lewis came up to me and hugged me.
Good work, future detective. I'm so proud of you. You can even get rid of that little punk and hang out with me again. I miss you.
Suddenly, someone spoke from behind us.
So, it was all about this, huh?
I turned around and my smile instantly disappeared upon seeing Chase standing by the door. The hurt look in his eyes broke my heart. Chase, let me explain.
No need. Congratulations on your successful mission.
I watched him walk away with tears in my eyes. I wanted to run after him, but I guess this was for the best. I didn't see him again, and he also never contacted me. I should be happy I was done with him, right? Wrong. It kept on bothering me. A lot. One day, Lewis took me out for dinner, and I was expecting him to give me another case. But he completely surprised me by saying,
I like you a lot, Artemis. Will you be my girlfriend?
I had been waiting for this moment. I should be happy. But why was I thinking about Chase? I'm so sorry, Lewis, but
I think we're better off as friends. You like someone else, don't you? I just bowed my head down and smiled. It didn't matter now because I'd ruined his life. 2 years had passed and I was finally studying criminology at university. One day during lunch, I decided to try the new restaurant around the corner, and I was shocked to see who the chef was. Chase! It's so nice to see you here. How are you doing? I'm doing great. I took your advice and here I am. He looked even more handsome than before. I didn't know what to say. It's really good to see you, Artemis. You too. I wanted to hug him and tell him that I missed him, but I couldn't. He then excused himself and walked up to a familiar girl who had just entered the restaurant. It was Vanessa, and they were hugging sweetly. I felt so jealous. I just got up to leave. As I walked out of the restaurant, I felt someone running after me. Are you jealous? Huh? What are you talking about? Vanessa realized that she actually likes girls, and we ended up being good friends. Oh, wow. I didn't expect that. Just then, he stepped closer and held my hands. I've been in love with someone else for a long time now. I bet you know her. You're supposed to be mad at me for putting your dad in jail. I'm not. He's a criminal, so he deserves it. I'm upset because you pretended to love me. When did I say that I was just pretending? You weren't? He looked so cute as he blushed, and with that, I grabbed him by his collar and kissed him. Sorry, it's just a reflex. Let's make it a habit then.